And we are back on this lovely Cowboy Monday here at the Doing All Right podcast, presented to you by Tailgate USA. Thank y'all very much. Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Listen, let me talk to you, man. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Talk to me.
Te hablo in inglés.
Por favor.
Yeah, for sure. Bryan, boy, I don't think it's a coincidence that the day that your defense has its best performance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of asterisk attached to that, though.
Sure.
It don't matter, though, Bryan. We'll talk about the details later.
Yeah.
They didn't care when CeeDee Lamb was missing. You know what I mean?
Right.
We'll talk about the details later. But it's not a coincidence, Bryan, that your best performance happened on the back of your defense's best performance. Your best team performance happened on the back of your best defensive performance. Bryan, I know it's a lot of pessimists in Cowboy Nation. I feel you. A lot of them are men about your age saying it's been 30 years.
Sure.
I'm 33, so I ain't quite missed as much time
You missed a lot of that then.
as you and your ilk have, Bryan. But boy, I tell you what, man, when Dak talks about the offensive standard,
Sure.
it almost sounds like it's some old coach speak, Bryan. It sounds almost cliche-ish, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Bryan, them people will drop the same amount of points on the Giants. They'll drop the same amount of points on the Jets.
Yeah.
Then they'll drop the same amount of points on a good team like the Green Bay Packers.
Sure.
And coming into this game, national media going to tell you otherwise now. National media going to say, well, maybe the Washington Commanders weren't what we thought they were. People were loving the Washington Commanders, Bryan Broaddus. They were a team that you felt like if the Eagles didn't win the division, it was going to be Washington.
One or the other.
That's what people felt.
Yep.
And man, Bryan, them same 40 points you dropped on them other people, boy, you drop them on the Washington football Wizards. Because I don't call them Commanders because they couldn't beat Cooper Rush that one year, but damn sure can't beat Dak Prescott, Bryan Broaddus. 44-23. Offense goes out there, puts on another clinic, very efficient, very surgical. Defense does a ton. Let's say the defense for last because we got the most to say about them. A lot of different things happen. As far as the offense goes, we were going against a unit that was really high in pressure.
Yes.
I felt like the Cowboys took that challenge pretty well, and when there was pressure, I think Dak handled it pretty well. I think one matchup that I was really focused on was your rookie right guard versus Deron Payne.
Yeah.
Thought your rookie right guard did pretty well there.
Sure.
I think the Cowboys ran the ball much better. Shots out to them because last week it was looking like some nonsense, Bryan Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
I think your rookie right guard, fantastic in the run game. Your right tackle did well in the run game. Tyler Smith is who he was. Hoffman, man, shouts out to Hoffman, man. Hoffman, cool.
Yeah.
Did some whatever. Waiting on BB to get back, though. But I think the Cowboys were physical.
Yeah.
They went at the Washington football Wizards where they were bad at. And that's one thing I keep hating on Mike McCarthy about the go find the scrubs, Bryan.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go after this. Go find the scrubs. I think the biggest deficiency that we saw for the Washington football Wizards, especially yesterday, was you were able to kind of move them on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They didn't want to deal with Williams and go find Marshawn Lattimore.
Right.
And the Cowboys kept doing that till they got 44 points on the board. Bryan Broaddus just real fast because we got some things to say about defense later. What you think about the Cowboys' offense?
Yeah, I think you put it all really well in that thumbnail that you did, though. The things when you watch the tape that are going to pop out at you is that the Cowboys, that the way that they were able to get to plays, the way they were able to set up opportunities in this football game. You mentioned about with Lattimore, Amos on the other side was probably their better corner. They went after him one time and made a big play. So there really was that thought about, okay, let's go attack this guy, but now you're getting an offense that's not afraid to attack the other team's best players. I thought they did an outstanding job of handling the inside pressure from the Commanders. Nothing on the outside. There was one time where Booker got beat and Dak still made a throw to the outside to Pickens for 10 yards. But, man, that was really kind of your only hiccup right there. I think Dak did a great job of when he had to navigate in the pocket a little bit that he was able to do that. He made some great throws. The combinations of the routes that they were running outside, getting Turpin back involved, throwing him a ball to the sideline, letting him make somebody miss, getting up the sideline the way he did. this offense is making you have to defend things, not only vertically, but they're making you have to defend them horizontally as well. And I think that's the mark of a really, really good team, their ability to run the football, run it with some toughness, but they have a quarterback that can turn his back to the defense and make throws. The play-action game has been very, very effective. You start to talk about now, the touchdown pass. If you go back and look at the one that they threw to Lamb, just a well-designed play from the aspect of Dak is probably looking to get the ball to Pickens on the outside left, but they had a coverage with the Dak and then Shoddy in the end of the game called Tricky 2. Well, Tricky 2 to them, and the way it looked on the film was it was all of a sudden the corner from the backside, which is Lattimore, is almost playing like a safety. So you got the two safety look with the other safety down towards the middle. So that's why they call it the Tricky 2. But as soon as Lamb read that coverage, he raised his hand, even though it looked like Prescott wanted to throw the ball to Pickens on the other side. Dak came back to him because he saw when the coverage went to too deep, and then Lamb's ability to split it, hand goes up, that's where he made the throw. So you got a quarterback that's playing at a very, very high level. He's reading things in the secondary. He's getting them in and out of good plays. The run stuff I thought was really good. There was a couple of times where they got the ball to the edge. It was nice to see with Jadon Blue even get the ball to the edge. Unfortunately, they had the holdings on the outside, but that was encouraging that they had an idea, they had a plan for him of how to do it, able to execute it that way, just weren't able to get the blocks that they needed, or they got the holding call, which took the play back. But overall, offensively, you got to like the way that Brian Schottenheimer called the game. You like the way that Dak Prescott managed the game, and then his skill players and his offensive line did a great job of finishing that thing off.
Man, Brian, just an opinion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we at with it. Tell me what you think of this. Just what I think. I think all week we made this big hubbub about wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Voch, Bryan Broaddus, it was all in the Friday show.
Sure.
What's going to happen when Turpin comes back?
Right.
And Tolbert is active and Flournoy? What are we going to do with all these guys? And, Brian, I think that we really made an attempt to try to sort it all out. I think we was overthinking a little bit, Brian. I think we was overthinking it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think one day that may be a conversation that we talk about, but 8 targets to Lamb, 6 targets to Pickens. Ferg got his 7, which most of them were like dump downs, rollouts, touchdowns, but I could live if that's Ferg's job, then fine. As far as wide receiver 3 goes, it was really 3 targets amongst Turpin and Tolbert.
Right.
2 to Tolbert for 16 yards, 1 catch, and 1 target, 1 catch for 17 yards to Turpin. Like, that's who wide receiver 3 is.
Yes.
Honestly, Brian, we ain't got to overthink wide receiver 3.
No, we really don't.
If this is the result you get, and you're going to live through 88, live through 3, 87 gets his little situation here or there, but most importantly, Williams get 19 carries, and they're like good carries. We don't have to overthink getting Flournoy involved or getting Tolbert and all.
No, that's you're absolutely right about that, because really your third receiver is really Ferguson. Yep. If you look at overall when you start to talk about the targets, I think it was like I said, to be able to see, Tolbert had a catch along the sidelines. I mentioned the play to Turpin. Those things that's kind of like Dak just making sure that, hey, that guy's open, get him the football. But yeah, don't overthink right now. I mean, there was a time where like 11, you lived in 11 personnel. Now you could be a little bit different with that. You could play a little bit more 12 personnel. The third wide receiver, I think it's important in some ways. If you play against a secondary that's really, really good, it has the ability to kind of lock you down. And we'll see what Denver does this week. And I know they gave up a bunch of points to the Giants this past week. And, the Giants are down receivers. That's going to be an interesting film study for me. But traditionally, Denver, with the way that they play coverage, maybe it'll come into where you'll have to have one of these receivers, as you mentioned, step up and make a play, whether that's Turpin, Tolbert, or then Flournoy. We'll see what happens this week too with getting Jonathan Mingo back. Do they just keep riding? Sometimes coaches don't want to mess up the rhythm of the way that their units are playing. And would this be an opportunity? Will Mingo be a guy that they get on the active list or get on the active roster, but then make him a healthy scratch? We'll see in the coming days.
Denver is some deep doo-doo if they come up in here playing like they did versus.
Bo
Nick's throwing the ball 50 times. They shouldn't come.
No, that's like, and I mean that's why it's going to be, I think, a fascinating film study to me about how did they play defense, because traditionally you get the Broncos, they're one of the better ones when it comes to with their coverage and their pass rush. Their pass rush is really, really good. But then you had a rookie quarterback go in there yesterday and put up a bunch of points. Was Sean Payton and the boys ready to play, or was that just one of those things they were looking ahead to Dallas? I want to believe that that the Giants, without watching the tape and not seeing the game, because when it was going on with your game, I just wonder how the Giants went about that. I'm sure they had a pretty good plan for him.
What's your stance on signing Pickens as soon as possible? Like what, or just in general, right? I saw Brad Sham fussing on the internet with some people.
Yeah.
Like he almost fussed at me about it one time, but he ended up fussing like Nick Harris or something. I don't know. But it was basically all the young creators and writers are like, hey man, let's go get Pickens his money right now. Let's do it right now.
Sure.
But Brad's a seasoned gentleman. And he wants to see it first.
Right.
Nothing wrong with wanting to see it first.
Right.
I just believe in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get this dude something because I just had a belief in who he was. Mm-hmm. Pickens as the football player is exactly who we thought he was, Brian.
Right.
I don't know where you at with it. It seems the conversation isn't as clear cut. Some people want to save a little bit of money and maybe draft a wide receiver. I don't want to put needs on your draft list. I'm trying to get Pickens, get him locked up and maybe go find somebody to go win right now. That's where I'm at with it. What are your views on Pickens? How much has it changed since you've seen him kind of step up and play some of the wide receiver that he's been playing?
He just needed to leave Pittsburgh.
He had to go.
He just had to leave Pittsburgh. I mean, you look at a guy that runs at Pittsburgh, the quarterback situation. You run 4 routes. Arthur Smith is your coordinator. I mean, come on. There's all kinds of things.
Mason Rudolph and Kent.
Yeah. You're just, you found a quarterback, you found a play caller, you found a complementary piece to go along with you at the wide receiver spot, and you also, the Steelers have some skilled guys, but they don't have the skilled guys like I believe the Cowboys do. We'll see. But the thing about it is, though, I think with Pickens is, and he was excited about this when we had a chance to visit with him this summer, is that he was looking forward to running more of the crossing routes. He was looking forward to – he's always been known as a vertical player, but now you get him in space and let him run, throw the ball to him on the move, throw him the slants, throw him the crossing routes, throw the digs, the deep, let him run the outs. Whatever you have to do with him, his repertoire is is much larger than what the Pittsburgh Steelers were willing to do. Now, the question I have for you, Voch,
yes, sir,
and there's a couple of signings you have to think about here. Mm-hmm. You have to look at yourself and say, are you willing to spend potentially $45 million on 2 players? And I mean, not 2 players of being CeeDee Lamb being the other player, but are you willing to spend, say, $35 million on Pickens and another $10 million on Williams, the running back? See, that's where, to me, because if you look at overall how this offense has benefited, it's benefited from the play caller, it's benefited from the quality of the quarterback, and it's benefited from the offensive line. But then you look at the additions that they made with Pickens and Williams. Are you willing to? And you're a guy that works on the draft extensively, and you told us about Krosky Merritt, and you've told us about other backs. But is Williams and Pickens worth it to you for, say, $45 million for both those players?
I'll start with the easier side of it. Get Pickens right now. Like, sign Pickens right now. I even looked at some of the numbers. You maybe aren't thinking about signing Pickens to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league, but I think there's an area that's under Chase, Lamb, and Jefferson.
Yeah.
But it's like right over T. Higgins, which is like $33 million or something like that. I'm willing to pay $31, $32, $33 million for George Pickens. I think he's that good. And I think in this window that you have Dak, We don't know how much longer Dak is going to be really good. We don't know how much longer he's going to be elite. But if we had to flip a coin and guess on it, I would say 3 more years at this top level. And if you have this organization and this team that's built on everything revolving around Dak right now, get him his pieces. If people think back on it, Dak's never really had the opportunity to have Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper all together.
Right.
Guys get hurt, guys get, whatever. I think this is the best. And we could say, I could say that this duo of wide receivers is paying off more than some of those trios of wide receiver. And we don't have to play 11 personnel like that group.
Yeah.
Like the personnel group that we're running out right now with Ferg being the main target guy. I don't want to mess that up for Dak. I don't want to lean into this cowboy thing that they tend to do is somebody got to step up. I don't want to lose Pickens and be like, all right, Flournoy, step up. I think it's going to be setbacks there. And Dak is an older quarterback, and you don't want setbacks. So I'm signing GP as soon as possible, as soon as I possibly can. Williams, which I think is a little more complicated, I think you can debate me either way on that.
Sure.
I think you could say, Voch, we're going to bring Williams back for 1 year, $10 million. I would understand. But if you also say, Voch, I think this offensive line and this play caller and this run scheme is set up so nicely, what we'll do, Voch, is we're just going to save that money and draft somebody and maybe sign a veteran in the offseason. A very cheap veteran, just like we signed Williams cheap, right? Some older cat, $2.5 million, whatever. Draft a guy, pair him with Blue.
Yeah.
I may draft another guy in the 7th, whatever you want to do. I'll just throw bodies at running back because typically that works at running back, But this is only because I'm trying to keep Pickens.
Right.
I don't want nothing to get in the way of keeping Pickens. I think that dude is so dynamic and he's so good. And I think the quarterback has gotten to a point to where he can have both wide receivers and it not be drop off on.
So what you're doing is you're thinking about sacrificing other bodies, though.
Sure.
Like, if you have to sacrifice the right tackle, you sacrifice a corner. I mean, you're gonna go look for money to make this work, right?
I think if the Cowboys start looking around for who's out of guaranteed money,
right,
I think they're gonna look at them safeties.
Yeah,
and think about this also, Brian. How many of these guys? I've said this on my channel. I'll say it here. How many of these guys on defense do you anticipate going to be here next year?
See, that's the thing. I mean, when we initially, after the Carolina game, you were kind of talking like maybe there might be 2 guys here.
It's going to be a whole nother roster next year, Brian. Yeah. So a lot of those guys that are due for some money, but it's not guaranteed, I can see those guys being gone. Those safeties, some of the guys on your D-line right now, some of your 1-year linebackers, they're not going to be re-signed. They're not going to be brought back here. It's going to be a whole new defense next year. So I'm scrapping up all the quarters I can find. I'm looking under the couch, getting all the bread I can find. And we could debate about Williams.
Yeah.
I would love it if Williams ended up being like Rico was, because we thought Rico was going to get. Rico had 1,000-yard rushing season. Rico's got to get like
$6 million.
But the market didn't dictate that.
Yeah.
I think if we're lucky, maybe Javonte Williams' market won't be as high, and we can have a conversation about that. But I could go yes, I can go no with him.
See, the thing that I would do, I think, right now, when you start to talk about Williams, and I think he's been a great asset. And I'm an older guy. I love running backs and the way running backs play. I think they're super important to what you do. But I also have to look at the way this offensive line is now constructed. Yeah. I got to look at the coaches and what they could do. I think the one thing that Williams has given me is the blueprint for the type of back I need to go get.
Yeah.
You could
hard
say,
runner.
Yeah, you could sit there. If you get one of those veteran type guys, it's got some complete elements to his game, where all of a sudden he's a pass catcher, he's a blocker, and he can run with some toughness. I think now I have an understanding because I think I've got all the other things in place with the offensive line, the tight end that blocks well, and then the coaching staff. Then give me the opportunity. I'd love to have Williams back, but I think there's a price point for me. As much as I love running backs, I just feel like there might be something that you said, okay, now I understand. I could draft this thing, I could sign this thing, or I can and make sure that I have the right kind of guy because I have an idea of what player fits best in that scenario.
Let's get ready to break down this defense, but before we do that, Brian's going to tell us about Tailgate USA.
Yeah, I am going to tell you about Tailgate USA. And as Voch said earlier, this show is brought to you by Tailgate USA. Make sure you're tailgating like a pro. Tailgate USA, they've got the turnkey trailers. They've got the mobile bars. They've got the catering pop-ups. They handle the setup, the cleanup. Just show up. I mean, that's what we like to do. We just show up and have some fun. And you do that with Tailgate USA. They're perfect for game day in your town, for birthdays, corporate events, watch parties, and more. And this December, by the way, we're doing a giveaway. You can register to be a part of a giveaway to come hang out with me on December 21st against the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to be hanging out at the tailgate. So looking forward to that. Just we got the QR code. Just click on that. Make sure that you just register for that. Look forward to seeing you there. And make sure you're booking with tailgateusa.net. And tell them that I sent you for that VIP pricing.
I know a lot of people want to come kick it with Bryan Broaddus, ask him football questions, shake his hand, pictures. So please tap in with Tailgate USA so we can get all that taken care of for you. Bryan, Cowboy defense, man. You can only play who's in front of you.
Sure.
It is what it is. I will say, playing against Robbie Anderson, I'm not going to mess around with his new names. I ain't got time. For that mess, man. Robbie Anderson, Lane, and, Christian little brother, Luke. Bryan, I think that group of wide receivers is just like some of the guys that you've been getting whooped by all season anyway.
Yeah.
I still look at his progress, Bryan. I still see his progress. Wandale Robinson got a 115-yard game against you. You know what I mean? Like it's some miscellaneous characters that have racked up yards against you.
Sure.
It's encouraging that I don't want to call it encouraging, man. We 7 weeks in, man. But Flus decided, all right, enough is enough.
Yeah.
I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane, is what Flus said. And I believe they ran man at like 47%, Bryan.
It was almost, it was almost a 50-50 split.
Bryan, how the hell we go from we lucky to get 9% man.
Yeah.
Maybe 15% man. They end all the way to damn near 50, Bryan.
Yeah.
Say what you want about man coverage, and if we get another team with another group of receivers, I mean, Cortland Sutton and some guys are coming. That's still not a ridiculous group over there in Denver, but it's a better group than what you just ran out against. Even if you give up plays, still, I would rather have closer man coverage than like a 10-yard cloud over somebody.
Right.
I would much rather that, Bryan. Make it more difficult for the quarterback to process. I think you had Jaden Daniels this week, and I gained a lot of respect for him going out there with the wide receivers that he had and still like competing and fighting and doing his thing. So shouts out to Jaden Daniels. I think he's a much better quarterback than Bo Nix. We'll talk about that later in the week, Bryan.
Sure.
But we have to forecast the future because this seems to be what your defense is going to be. Like we tried something, we've had success here. All right, this is what it's going to be. We're going to play some man, still operate some zone. We're going to find a way to get pressures here. I think Flus too, and this is what I want you to start talking about. I think Flus really found a groove with blitzing James.
He did.
Blitzing him,
But you told him about that when he was drafted from Florida.
Right. I said on the draft show we was talking about this.
Yeah.
But look, better late than never.
Way back in April.
But never late is better, you feel me? He stopped blitzing Kenny Murray. He decided to blitz.
Yeah, he sure did.
Shamar James, like he
sure did.
Bryan, tell me about what you saw from the Cowboys defense, some of the changes that they made, also some of the players that we saw.
Yeah.
Personnel wise, we didn't see Reddy out there in the nickel. We saw Weezy on the outside, Bryan.
Right.
So please tell us about all that.
Yeah, I think where this game really came down to is you mentioned the wide receivers, and they were clearly compromised with no Deebo Samuel and no Terry McLaurin. So that, hey, nobody feels sorry for you in the NFL. You just move on. You play who you got, you dress your guys, and you go on. And so you try to do your best. Dallas against the Jets, we've talked about that. 4 offensive linemen down. Go out and win a football game. Nobody feels sorry for you in this league. So don't feel sorry for the Commanders. But I will tell you this, though. Voch and I on Wednesday talked about this when it came to the Commanders' offense. When you play man coverage against Jaden Daniels, he's less than a 50% passer. And Schottenheimer post-game told you last night, because the questions immediately started, why did you play more man coverage? And he said, that's what dictated. That's what we knew. That's the metrics. That's the things going in. It's like, listen, when this guy's playing against zone coverage, he's almost a 70% passer. When he plays against man coverage, he's a 50% passer. And that's with his receivers playing. That told you right there, you needed to find a way to play more man coverage in this game. It wasn't just like, oh, we suck in zone and let's go play man. The numbers told you. Even when he had his receivers, as I said, Samuel and those guys playing, that's where this team was. They were struggled, and so the Cowboys did a really nice job, as you mentioned, with controlling the run. If you watch early in the game, Krosky Merritt had an 8-yard run, and it was kind of like, oh geez, here we go. But the fits were better. The getting off blocks was better. There were a couple of times where, Sam Williams goes an inside charge and it looks bad. I thought that Clowney showed up in this game when it came to playing some run defense stuff. But overall, though, when defense needed to make some plays, they did a really nice job of that. And the 50-50 split zone to man, I think, was what was necessary in this game because it was dictated by the struggles that their starting quarterback had had. It wasn't. I don't think it was some magical thing. Oh, the receivers are compromised. Let's just all of a sudden we're bad in zone. Let's play man. No, it's just like let's try something because this guy is not good at handling that. And when he had to make some of those throws, he couldn't make those throws. So that aspect it was very encouraging. Some of the pressure didn't happen early, but then all of a sudden you take the running game away from them. You make them have to drop back. And then the next thing you know, you're able to get some pressures. You mentioned about James coming on the blitz. That's another one of those things I just mentioned. Draft show, we told you about when Shamar James was drafted. Not a great cover guy, but what he is, he's a really good blitzer. He's a really good downhill player. And you know what? Hey, he got in a situation where all of a sudden they made a mistake at left guard. They comboed inside, free runner. And Daniels had a chance to throw the ball inside to Ernst, and because of the pressure from James, he pulled the ball down. He got tangled up, hurt his hamstring, and then the rest was history. You get the ball right there on a sack fumble. So, good job by Matt Eberflus. You got to give him credit for the way that they played run defense this week because that was something that I was really, really worried about, that they were just going to load up, get in that jumbo personnel, and just try and mash you like Carolina did. But Dallas didn't allow that in this game.
So you wouldn't anticipate that the Cowboys are going to run man half the time next week?
I don't anticipate it, no. I mean, I need to see what's going on with Denver and how they operate. It might be a thing too where we look at Denver and this is my tailgate tip of the day for you right here. We might look at Denver and the metrics tell you, okay, hey, they're much better. Their receivers struggle against, or their receivers are really good. I think this is where things come into play for you, where like, okay, you proved to yourself you could play some man coverage. You proved that. You proved you can get some pressure. You proved you can get some blitzes. So now try and take that to the next week, though it might be a thing where this quarterback lights you up when you blitz him or you play man coverage against him. I think you have to have the ability to adjust. It's very simple to say, but you have to be able to morph into whatever makes things work where you can get stops. Man, they got a lot of stops yesterday. They made them punt. They had turnovers. They had sacks. I mean, there was a lot of really positive things for this defense yesterday, but you got to be able to kind of morph into wherever you need to play against these NFL defenses. And we'll have that report, starting on Wednesday with the Denver Broncos and the best ways to attack them.
But you would say regardless that this group of corners are a better man unit than zone unit, huh?
I would say that the way that, say, like Elam played yesterday, that would be, yeah. And then him, Bland, I think I'm one of these guys, though, Voch, I believe you're going to need Diggs. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of people right now. I think Diggs is going to have the opportunity, whether it's today or there'll be a player day off on Tuesday or Wednesday. When they get opportunity, I think the organization is going to allow Diggs to stand in front of the media and explain what happened that made him inactive last week. There's a lot of kind of mystery going over the top of this. But I think the organization would like for him to stand up there and say what exactly happened and hopefully give everybody a good answer. But I think they're going to need Diggs going forward. I like I said, I'm not willing just to get rid of a guy like this. And maybe they are. Maybe they're to that point where we talked about like Amari Cooper, where all of a sudden it's like, we've had enough. We don't want to deal with this anymore. Me personally, I kind of feel like he needs to still be a part of this.
I can't stand a mystery. Bryan Broaddus. But I do agree. I think Diggs needs to be because you need him.
You need him. Yeah, you absolutely
whether
need
you
him.
want to be here or not, stop power.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing that I my hope is that Diggs sat there in that game yesterday and watched his guys get after it and you saw Bland with the pick six like the old days and stuff like that. And my hope is that all of a sudden that Diggs can put everything aside and go out and play at the level that he's capable of for his teammates. He didn't have to do this for Jerry Jones or anything, or but it would be nice if he would go out there and do it for the guys that are his brothers. That's me being romantic and thinking about it, but you just would like him, to go out and play at the level that he's capable of playing.
Man, Flu still made me mad with one thing though yesterday, Bryan Broaddus. Well, I tell you what, Cowboys got a little pressure yesterday.
They did
a little pass rush.
Yeah,
I think it was something that they could have done to get a little bit more though. If you would say that the Cowboys got two really good, or not even two really, the two best Cowboy pass rushers, Brian, who would you say that those guys are? The Cowboys' two best pass rushers.
Well, I think if you look at, to me, James Houston would be number one, and then you look at what Donovan Ezeracco can do, and there were a couple of times where Easy was able to. I mean, Connerly, the tackle for the Commanders, really struggled in that game. And again, something that Voch pointed out in our film breakdown of him on Thursday when it came to, hey, here's a guy you need to kind of go after. It's a little bit of a guy. There was time that if you look at the sack that happened with Clowney, Connolly didn't even get out of his stance. It just ran right at him, and so that's a good job of the Cowboys taking advantage of some of these players. We haven't seen that always in the past. But to answer your question, Houston Ezeracco.
You want to know what made me so mad? When Flus took his best two pass rushers, he'll line them up over Tunzel.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tunzel's going to erase those guys.
Yeah.
It ain't like your best pass rusher is Michael Parsons, and Michael will beat Tunzel sometime.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, man, this would be a good time for a James Houston play.
Yeah.
And James Houston to be lined up over Tunzel. I know who James Houston is.
Yeah.
I could be funny and be like, yeah, he's one of your best players. He is. But he ain't whooping Laramie Tunzel.
Yeah.
I wanted Flus to move some of his best guys on their worst guys.
Yeah.
And it worked with Donovan the one time.
It did.
But I bet it would have been so much more if you would have just taken Marshawn Nealon was out. If you would have just taken Peyton Turner ain't even playing, who the hell play pass rush? Who play? If you'd have just taken your worst guy, take Clowney and Fowler, and play them, over Laramie Tunzel, and then play your best.
So just eliminate this sacrifice.
He eliminated his best pass rushers by playing them over Tunzel.
This is what.
I'm a YouTuber, Brian.
Yeah, no, this is what I was a former scout, and I still have these questions. The thing that I think that I every week I am a get my best on your worst.
Find a screw up.
Find it. And Voch and I think we've been pretty consistent when we do these breakdowns of listen, find this guy. This is a guy that you need to go after. Find this corner, find this safety, find this tackle or this guard. And I it's just amazing to me to be there and watch the games. And you're absolutely right. All of a sudden, your best pass rusher is going against their best offensive tackle, and you're going, why? Why are we trying to do that? Why not take my best pass rusher and put it over a rookie right tackle that is struggling getting out of his stance in a loud stadium? Why? Why are we doing anything other than that? So I totally agree with. I don't know always the scheme.
Yeah.
I don't always understand the coverages and being in this all these years, but I do know how to find your worst player.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady has had a Hall of Fame career finding your worst player. Bill Belichick has had a Hall of Fame career finding your worst player. It's not that hard, guys and gals. It really isn't. But I share in your displeasure for that one.
It is what it is, Bryan Broaddus. What we're going to do is we've already watched the film, but we're going to watch it some more and get some more takeaways and really break it down. And we're going to come up in here at Crown Global Media and do it right here on the big board tomorrow. So y'all be sure to tap in with us. We love y'all to peace. Thank y'all so much for being able to tap in with us on this Monday. Get you some merch. The link is in the description. Get you okay, cool.
I got my tailgate hat on.
But shouts out to Tailgate USA because they paying the bills also. But be sure to go down there and get you some merch. We got hats, we got tumblers, we got all kind of outerwear. Go out there and hold us down. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Follow us on socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those places at Crown Global Media. That's BRYN Broaddus on VOCHLOMBARDI. We'll have some film for y'all tomorrow, all right? Y'all hold it down until next time. Crown.